Good morning, YouTube. So it's been a month since I installed this tankless water heater in my house, and I wanted to go over some of the gas consumption data. I've got my first bill from the gas company. There's some rather interesting data there. First, I wanted to take a look at this blog post. This was written by an associate professor at UCSD. And he did a lot of investigation into how much energy a pilot light uses. And if you look at your bill and you see these units of therms, that's the measure of gas energy here in the US. So a therm is 100,000 BTUs, or about 29.3 kilowatt hours. One therm sounds like a very small number, but if you put it into kilowatt hours, 29 kilowatt hours is a lot of electricity. And down here he talks about measuring how much gas a pilot light consumes, and it's about a little under a half cubic foot per hour, and he came up with a running pilot light uses something like 130 watts. That's like leaving a couple of incandescent light bulbs running 24/7, and I think I see this very sort of number in my gas data. I'll put a link to this article in the video description, but let's take a look at my numbers and we'll see what that looks like. So this is my natural gas data from my utility. So it's showing in the blue here is the natural gas. The vertical column is number of therms that I was billed for a given month. Basically, this was from back in 2009 and 10. And I just wanted to show you this data. We're running here probably between 8 and 10 therms, 7, 8, 7. There's a couple of 10s. So this is the kind of gas bill I was getting back in 2009 and 10. And then the scale changes here. They auto scale the chart to the highest monthly reading. So here again, 8, 9, 10 therms, something like that. This was 2011, and this particular month here, July, I had set up one of those energy audits with the gas company, and they came out to my house and checked weather stripping and the furnace, and did some airflow and air leakage tests and cleaned the burners and checked the thermostat and did all that kind of work. So that's why the gas was a little high that month. I did 11 therms because we were running the heater, of course, in the middle of the summer. You can't plan the visit for a cold day when you could appreciate the heat. But anyway, during that visit, they found that one of the grease pack valves on the shutoff for the water heater was actually leaking gas. That they tightened the handle nut on that valve and stopped the leak, and then told me I should replace that valve, which I did sometime later. And I mentioned that in an earlier video, that I replaced the other grease pack valves that were in the house so that I didn't have that leaking problem in the future. So after that, you can see all of a sudden now my gas usage went down to 4, 5, 6. So probably averages about 5 therms a month. And then that was in the summer, 4 or 5, and then in the winter, a little bit higher, 6 or 7. The next year, here's 2013, 2014, low in the summer, high in the winter. And then starting in 2014, they added the temperature. So this is the average outside temperature. And you can see the temperature warms up in the summer. The gas consumption is a little bit lower, and then in winter the temperature drops and the gas consumption goes up, and that basically is showing your standby heat losses on the tank water heater. You've got to keep that water heater at 120 degrees or whatever you have the thermostat set to. And when it cools off in the winter, it takes more gas to keep it hot. And again, the same thing, lower in the summer, higher in the winter. This was 2015, 2016. Everything's running about the same sort of thing, a little higher in the winter, and then we come to May. All of a sudden, the gas dropped to 1 therm. So let's go back here. If you click on one of the months, you get the daily usage. The smart meter that I have on the gas only reports every time 1 therm of gas is used. And you can see here it's roughly about every week. There's one on the 3rd, the 9th, the 14th. Here's the next month. It's roughly a therm every week. And here's moving into March. It's a little bit warmer. So here we have the 5th, the 11th, the 17th. So it's about every 6-7 days it's using a therm. March, April, same thing. And then here is the last month. On May 3rd, the meter registered 1 therm. And then this is the weekend I installed the heater. So I shut the gas off on Saturday, turned it back on Sunday, and nothing's happened. And if we scroll into the next month, on the 29th, we finally registered 1 therm for the whole month. And now it's on the 8th of June. It's been a whole month with 1 therm of gas. So essentially shutting off the pilot light in the water heater has saved about 80% of my gas bill. So one thing I signed up for is I get my gas from a third-party bulk supplier. So I pay the supplier 40 cents for gas, and then I pay the utility 69 cents to deliver the gas to me. So my total bill for the month was actually $1.09. The amount I paid to the gas company was 69 cents. And then, like I said, I paid 40 cents to the gas supplier. And just to show you here those numbers, so if you use 1 therm of gas is about 29,300 watt hours or 29 kilowatt hours. If I divide that by 1 week, so if there's 168 hours in a week, that says that that pilot light is consuming 174 watts all the time. This blog post showed about 130 watts, so you can probably figure your pilot light is using something between 130 and 170 watts of power, and that's working out to about 1 therm a week. So that's quite a bit. If you had that sort of electrical vampire load running, you would be looking for it. But because it's this little tiny flame burning under your water heater, you don't even think about it. And there could be a pilot light in your gas furnace. There's a pilot light there, and unless you have an electronic ignition. Anything in your house that has a pilot light is burning up probably 4 therms a month just to keep that pilot light running. So this data pretty much backs up the data that Tom Murphy found on his post. So yeah, between the pilot light and the standby losses, your water heater is burning up about 4 therms a month just sitting there. And then in the winter, it's more like 5 or 6 therms because you've got a little more standby loss. So going tankless, it sure saved a lot of gas. The only problem is it's not a lot of money. So that's why in my original video, when I mentioned the goals of the tankless water heater install, I figured the energy savings was not that big a deal, because at the most I might save $3 or $4 a month. So over a year that would add up to maybe $40 a year. Times 5 years is about $200. That's about the additional cost of the tankless water heater over a replacement tank type heater. And then I had another $200 worth of plumbing between the gas piping and the water piping and the vent stack that I put in. I figure in about 10 years the additional cost of the tankless heater will have paid for itself in terms of natural gas savings. So that's why I didn't put that as a really high priority goal for doing the swap. It's a 10-year payback just to pay back the additional costs. Yeah, I just thought I'd share those numbers with you, and I'll let you know if anything changes in the upcoming months. And if you have any questions about the tankless heater or the install, post up in the comment section down below. And as always, thanks for watching.